Checking out these Jessem clear-cut stock guides. These are the ones for the table saw, and they're actually spring-loaded for the perfect amount of downward and inward pressure. And I just find these so helpful, especially when you're cutting sheet goods at the table saw. So with the kit, you get 2 stock guides and this long aluminum rail. Now this is a really sturdy extrusion, and this is made actually to be mounted directly to your rip fence. But if you don't want to drill holes in the fence of your saw, there's an alternate mounting method, and I'm certainly not the one that came up with this. I've seen this posted several places, and Jessem is even promoting this now too, so they must approve of the process. But I'm using mag switch 150-pound switchable magnets, and if you have a strip of plywood, 3/4 inch ply, that's been laminated, those will come out nice and flush underneath. And the only thing I've done different is I've added a cleat at the back. So even if there was any slippage at all during a violent kickback, this cleat would prevent the fence from moving, and that's just been a great setup for me. On the front, there's another 150-pound switchable magnet, and then just a little finger hole. It's a nice place to hang it on a nail on the wall when you're not using it. Otherwise, the mechanism of this is pretty genius. There's one-way ball bearings, and that really helps to prevent kickback. There's really grippy urethane tires on that, and that gives downward pressure thanks to this spring-loaded arm. To install it on your rip fence, just slide it towards you until it contacts that cleat at the back, and then lock in the 2 magnets. Then it's really easy to set the height of your stock guides. Just drop it down onto a scrap of your workpiece, and make sure this black portion of the arm touches the workpiece and not the urethane tires. Once you've got that on both of them, lock it in place, and that's what will give you the perfect pressure as you go to push this past the blade. And even if you intentionally keep the workpiece away from the rip fence, the angle of those urethane wheels will automatically pull it into the correct position. And here's how that cleat idea helps to register against the back of your rip fence. So even if you do experience a bit of a kickback, everything's going to stay nice and sturdy even with this magnetic mounting option. Of course, you can adjust these as needed fore and aft and lock it down with a pair of knobs there. And when these aren't needed, they're easy just to flip up and out of the way, and they'll stay well clear of anything you'll push past the rip fence. There aren't many situations where I'll pull this off my rip fence, but I do have a couple of specialty jigs that ride over the stock fence. So when that's the case, just flip the magnets, and that's easy to pull off and hang on the wall for a bit. So if you've been frustrated by featherboards, or sometimes you don't have room to get those devices in place when you're cutting large sheet goods, definitely look at the Jessem clear-cut stock guides. They've solved so many problems, and I just think they're like having 4 featherboards at once, and it's just a great device to have on your table saw. And when you don't need them, they just flip right out of the way. So I would highly recommend these Jessem clear-cut stock guides.